Once again, we go into racing territory here at the B&L Karting Series. Interesting fact. We've already had in excess of 20 front fairing penalties handed out over the last 3 races. The rust still needs to be ironed out, I think. But it has been a long winter for a lot of drivers. However, let's get to your starting grid for this race, DD2 Prefinal. And it is the defending champion, Glenn van Parijs, who is going back to Porsches this season as well. He starts on pole position. Alongside him will be the number 483 of Sebastian Janciewski from Poland, Ragnar Veres from Estonia, and Davide Fore from Italy round out the top 2 rows. Zonov Schiblak and Fabian Bock represent Belgium and Germany on row 3. Mick Knowlton from the Netherlands and Jan Negusens from Belgium, row 4. Matis Malinovskis from Latvia, and Kasper Bielecki rounding out the top 10. Mark Bartels and Robert Chorpian round out the top 12 places. That's row 6. David Maslakovits on 13th, ahead of the Netherlands' Bas van Vlimmeren. Manuel Tenschat and Maxim de Rijk round out the top 8 rows, ahead of Dan Zopfi, Imke Arts, Richard Subekis, Henry Ayres and Sebastian de Grand. 13 minutes plus an additional lap. We will have one more after this one. So the drivers getting themselves ready. So Van Parijs is the one with the target on his back, and also the race number that was sported 2 years previously by one Zonov Schiblak. The 401 from Buvin Power will lead the field. Alongside him will be Sebastian Janciewski from Poland. So 13 minutes on the clock, plus one additional lap. Red lights ignited on the starting gantry. So let's see how things fare in DD2 this time, shall we? They enter into the tram lines. Are we ready? Are we steady? It's revs up, lights out. They are off and racing, and a great start from Van Parijs as Janciewski tries to go around the outside on that particular occasion, but Van Parijs keeps the lead. Looks like Ragnar Veres has got his way up into second position. Davide Fori has also got up there too as well. I think Janciewski has dropped towards 5th position as Mick Knowlton stuck towards the bottom part of the top 10 as they all start making their way down the Europalan for the first time. And at the back part of the field, it looks like Henry Ayres is just waiting, and I think it's going to be a learning experience for the Brit, the 429. But showed good pace in quali as there's a move up the inside for 3rd position. So that could be Davide Fore from Italy, and has got past Zonov Schiblak, who is in 4th position. Van Parijs brings them across the line to complete lap number 1. So Janciewski stays in 2nd. That is Davide Fore. Quite a few other drivers. That's Bas van Vlimmeren that has actually dropped. I think he's out of the race because Henry Ayres looks to be the last of the 20 drivers still circulating on the track at the minute. There's a good move there by Jan Negusens up the inside of Weik Motorsport's Fabian Bock, who's made the transition a bit like David Remy did a couple of years back, up from seniors to DD2s. So new experience for Fabian Bock, but will be very well acquainted with the Rotax Max Evo engine that is powering his kart. So Van Parijs still keeping ahead of everybody at the moment, with Janciewski keeping him rather honest, but the Italian Davide Fore is with them right now. So a battle for the lead starting to intensify. So keep your eyes on Zonov Schiblak, because there's a move for 2nd position. Good move up the inside by Fore on Janciewski through turn 3. Oh, and he clashes wheels with Zonov Schiblak, who got up the inside of him through turn 3. And Janciewski looked to be saying, well, Zonov Schiblak, I don't care if you're a two-time previous champion of the B&L Karting Series. You cross me, you'll get your just desserts a little bit there. But Janciewski, I think, just launched it a bit too robustly there on the inside. So I wonder if race control will have a look at that one. 10.5 minutes still to go, plus an additional lap. So Glenn van Parijs has dropped the Belgian hammer, so to speak, and he is trying to pull away from Italy's Davide Fore in the 4:35. So Virus up into third position. Fabian Bock now rounds out the top four. Bars van Vlimmeren, an unfortunate early casualty on the very, very first lap of this race. So we are down to 20 runners and riders. They are rounded out by Henry Ayres. The entire field covered by just 6.2 seconds at the end of lap number 3. We're on lap number 4 at this particular moment. So there is Ragnar Virus and Fabian Bock as they are battling over third position, and Fabian Bock goes for the switchback. Nice move by the German, going through into turn 10. So the German now making sure that he is going to be someone to take notice of this weekend. So we have just over 9.25 minutes. The fast-paced chess game here that is DD2 unfolds before our very eyes, and at the moment the running order with just over 9 minutes to go is as follows. Glenn van Parijs on the completion of lap 4 had a nigh on 4/10 of a second gap ahead of Davide Fore from KSB Racing Team. Fabian Bock from Voik Motorsport rounds out the top 3. Then it is Ragnar Virus from the Birolart Baltic squad, conveniently placed on a Birolart chassis. Then it is Sebastian Janchevski rounding out the top 5. Jarne Gustens and Mick Knowlton not too far behind. In 6th and 7th, Kasper Bielecki and Manuel Tenchert round out the top 9 ahead of Zander Schiblak, who is recovering, but probably not wanted to be asked to exit. Well, he was forced to exit stage right, let's be completely honest, a little bit there, I think. He rounds out the top 10. Mark Bartels, Matis Malinovskis, Robert Chopian, Richard Subekis, Sebastian Legrand up from 21st to 15th. Imke Arts, David Maslakovitz, Dan Zopfi, Maxim Derish and Henry Ayres rounding out the 20 that are still circulating. So we have 21 drivers competing here this weekend, and in many respects this is where the tactical games start to flesh out. But Mick Knowlton is closing on Jarne Gustens, and then behind them you've got Kasper Bielecki from Poland and Manuel Tenchert battling over 8th and 9th. So the top 2 covered by just over half a second, just under half a second, as Jarne Gustens having to put the defensive moves on, as Tenchert, I think, has got past. He has got past, and that's done and dusted for 8th position, as Bielecki now finding himself coming under fire, courtesy of Zander Schiblak. So that's the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th position at this particular moment. Tenchert holding on for 8th as Jarne Gustens keeping ahead of Mick Knowlton. For in the meantime, we're fast approaching half-time on the timer counting down. A 13-minute race plus 1 additional lap. Knowlton just waiting, biding his time. Fabian Bock is really, really winding up the wick on that Voik Motorsport kart as Knowlton looked up the inside there of Gustens going through turn 12, but the Dutchman not having an answer for the Belgian at this particular moment in time. But Glenn van Parijs controlling proceedings ahead of KSB's Davide Fore. Fabian Bock rounds out the top 3. Ragnar Virus, Sebastian Janchevski, Jarne Gustens battling away with Mick Knowlton for his 6th position. Manuel Tenchert now starting to stretch away from Kasper Bielecki and Zander Schiblak. Now Zander Schiblak is on a new chassis for 2021, a very different animal to the Tony Kart chassis that he used to incredible success. Vice champion for the Euro Trophy in 2019, a 2-time B&L Karting Series champion in 2018 and 2019, vice champion, second only to the driver that leads the field at the moment, Glenn van Parijs. So going from Tony Kart to Kart Republic is a steep learning curve, but he has shown some good performances this year. He's had a couple of wins this season in terms of heats. So 5.5 minutes still to go, and Glenn van Parijs extending that lead comfortably And he is less than a tenth off of the fastest lap of the race so far, Fabian Bock. Now, Fabian Bock, for the last 3 laps, has been in the high 53s. And he's closed the gap to Davide Fore to about 6.5 tenths of a second. But, you know, what they say is never say never regarding these drivers, because they'll always hang back a little bit and then sometimes they'll push forward a little bit. And it's only when the drivers move forward and try and do their level best to try and get an additional lap time. And one of the things that you need to keep your eyes on is what's happening behind you, what's happening in front of you. You know, these drivers are sometimes, they're going to plan a couple of corners in advance. And that's where things get rather, you know, interesting on strategy. Because sometimes it's not always about having the fastest car out on the track. If you're the smartest driver out there, you're going to be able to put the cart where you need to, and then also have that opportunity to counter-attack in case someone decides they're going to go for it. And this is where Mick Knowlton, you know, very, very experienced, knows the XP and Rotax combination through GKS Lemons Power. And he's keeping things rather calm up above, but he's a bit like a duck. He's paddling like heck underneath. So he's trying to do what he can. But Fabian Bock has closed up that gap. It was 6.5 tenths. He's over half that. And Fabian Bock, 2 laps ago, has gone and set the fastest lap of anybody once again at 53.771 from the German. So he's really coming into his own in DD2. And now Davide Fore from Italy with KSB really now finding out that Fabian Bock is closing, and Bock is within a kart length right now, or a kart length and a half to be more precise, going through into the right-hander at 10. And Fabian Bock using so much different corrective steering inputs there as we get in towards the last 3 minutes of this race plus an additional lap. Fabian Bock last time around was a lot quicker than Glenn van Parijs. But now Fabian Bock is the danger driver here, and I think this could be the dark horse of the weekend. The German from Vike Motorsport piloting him, you know, and it was good to see earlier on and on Instagram that he was switching to DD2, so that was an inspired choice. And Bock now making Davide Fore sweat, but Ragnar Virus and Sebastian Janchevski have also started to close in. 2 minutes and 24 seconds plus an additional lap remaining on the clock. Fabian Bock waiting in the wings to see if he can get past, as in the meantime the move has eventually happened, because Jan Negersons is not only behind Mick Knowlton, he's also behind Austria's Manuel Tenchert. Zander Schiblak has got past Matthias Malinowskis, and, well, Matthias Malinowskis has actually got past Poland's Kasper Bielecki, as well as has Zander Schiblak. So Schiblak rounds out the top 9 positions. Things getting a little bit closer now once again between 2nd and 3rd position, as it looks like Zander Schiblak down in 9th position has got an absolute tumultuous fight on his hands for 9th, 10th and 11th. So it is Belgium versus Poland versus Latvia, but also Zander Schiblak does have Polish roots through his family, but he still runs as a proud Belgian. He's competed at the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals on behalf of Team Belgium in years past. But now, with just over 1 minute and 10 seconds still to go on the clock, Van Parijs has led from lights out. Davide Fore now getting the hurry up from Fabian Bock. And this is the battle for the top 3 positions. But then Ragnar Virus and Sebastian Janchevski. Janchevski started on the front row of the grid alongside Van Parijs. And Van Parijs just doing what he needs to do. He's not being, how can I say it? He's not panicking. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected. Man and kart machine as one, and on home soil no less. We are about to head on to the penultimate lap. Lap number 14 about to be completed by Glenn Van Parijs on to the 15th and penultimate lap of this first of two pre-finals for the DD2 drivers. But there is Fabian Bock, who's wrestling with the kart as it tries to break traction from the rear. A little bit of correction from the German. And there is Birla Baltic's very own Ragnar Virus. Sebastian Janchevsky still there or thereabouts. Kasper Bielecki has actually dropped down the order, so there must have been drama because Malinovskis is ahead of Zonov Shriblak, who's now dropped out of the top 10, who's dropped into 10th position. So Bielecki, unfortunately, I don't think is going to take any further participation in this race. We now will head on to the 16th and final lap for the DD2 pre-final here at the home of champion. Glenn Van Parijs from Bouvin Power leads them over the line. Just over 3/10. There goes Fabian Bock. He waited until he got the last lap board. Absolute textbook from the German from Weich Motorsport. Decided to pounce up the inside of Davide Fori, and Fori had no response at all at that particular juncture. But now, Ragnar Virus and Sebastian Janchevsky still in the fight for what could be third position at the end of this race, but an absolutely brilliant strategic call by Fabian Bock just kept Davide Fori guessing, and with one lap remaining going into turns 1 and 2, he made it count where it mattered the most. So, one more corner remaining. It has been lights out to checkered flag for the defending champion as Bouvin Powers, Glenn Van Parijs. A little bit of a fist bump there as he takes his right hand off of the steering wheel. Van Parijs wins ahead of Germany's Fabian Bock by just under 0.5 of a second. Davide Fori from Italy rounds out the top 3. Ragnar Virus takes 4th. Sebastian Janchevsky rounds out the top 5, having started on the front row. Mick Knowlton in 6th position. Manuel Tenchard in 7th. Yanni Gussens rounds out the top 8, having been in the top 6 for quite a bit of a big chunk of this race. Matis Malinovskis, Zonov Shriblak round out the top 10. Robert Chopian from Kachmi takes 11th. Sebastian Legrand, a good recovery driver from the Dams Racing driver who celebrated his birthday yesterday. He rounds out the top 12. Rukard Sulbekis, Imke Arts, Mark Bartels, David Maslakovitz rounding out the top 16. Maxim Dirish, Henry Ayres takes 18th ahead of Dan Zopfi, with Kasper Bielecki retiring on lap 14 and Baz Van Vlimmeren on lap number 1.